at the end. Don't feel fresh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قالت يا ويلتى أألد وأنا عجوز وهذا بعلي شيخا إن هذا لشيء عجيب. My dear respected elders and brothers, we are carrying on in the Surah Hud, which is the 11th surah in the Quran, and we're in the 12th para, وَمَا مِن دَابَةٍ, and this is the 72nd ayat of this surah. We were doing the qisas of the Anbiya, which come in this surah of Hud, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already mentioned 4 of the qisas. We will do 2 more today, and the last one is Musa alayhi salam, all equaling 6. 6 qisas of the Anbiya are in this surah. And we are talking about Ibrahim alayhi salam, who of course is our spiritual father, the spiritual father of Islam. And we were doing the great miracle of Ibrahim alayhi salam upon him, given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that at a very old age, in his 90s, and even being more strange, his wife, who was in her 90s also, and this is his wife Sarah, who had to make a lot of sabr and patience, because Ibrahim alayhi salam, after many years of not having children, had his first child Ismail, but was not from Sarah, it was from Hajra, who was actually a slave girl who was gifted to Ibrahim alayhi salam from Sarah. So she became a little bit perplexed, and it was difficult for her to deal with that, the fact that she didn't have a child with her husband, and Hajra came into the picture and she had a child. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after her making a lot of sabr and patience, and Ibrahim alayhi salam also wanting more children, Allah ta'ala blessed him at the old ages of 90 with a child, which is a miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the last week we were talking about this, so to say, qafla, this caravan of malaika who were traveling to different places, 2 places basically. First was Ibrahim alayhi salam's house, to give him the basharat and the glad tidings of a child, and also inform him of the unfortunate consequence of the people of Lut. And Lut alayhi salam was related to Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was his nephew. And Ibrahim alayhi salam, and they stopped first at Ibrahim alayhi salam's house. Then after that they would carry on to Lut alayhi salam's house in order to inform him that his people were going to be destroyed. We will get into that story also. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ayat before this, when these malaik and angels came, so as it was the great habit of Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was a very sakhi and very generous person, so he offered them food. And not only any regular food, he didn't even offer them, but he actually ran inside the kitchen before they even could realize he was turned. As they turned to sit down, he ran into the kitchen and he brought out a roasted cow, baby cow, which is a very incredible meal, it's a delicacy, very beautiful meal was brought out, the baby calf which was roasted. And then they did not eat from this. When they did not eat from this, Ibrahim alayhi salam got scared and thought that they were some type of enemies, that they had come to kill him or do something wrong to him. So then they assured Ibrahim alayhi salam that no, we are the people, we are the angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are the messengers, and we have come to tell you that فَبَشَّرْنَاهَا بِإِسْحَاقٍ, we have given you glad tidings of Ishaq alayhi salam, and after Ishaq he will have a son named Yaqub. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, carrying on with this, it's mentioned here in this ayat, ayat number 72, the first ayat which we're doing today, where Sarah explains her wonderment at this, that this is incredible, this is a miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And she says, قَالَتْ يَا وَيْلَتَا. She says, oh, curse be upon me, ya waylata. And this was not meaning curse in a bad way, but it meant that what an incredible thing has happened. Why? Alidu wa ana ajuzun. I will give birth. Alidu. This little hamza there. That's istifham. It's asking a question. And alidu, walada yalidu, means to give birth. So she's saying, will I give birth? Wa ana ajuzun, being the fact that I'm an old lady, and old women don't give birth. Okay, one brother has a red Honda van blocking the, I don't know what that looks like, it says card or blocking a car. He should move his car, a red Honda van. Mistakenly must have left it there, forgot. Maybe my tafseer has mesmerized him, so he forgot about his car. So, so she starts saying that وَأَنَا عَجُوزٌ, I'm an old lady. And this is the first thing she said. This is what we call taqdeem. She could have said, and as many of the wives will do also, they'll blame the husband first, right? That something's wrong with you. But actually this was a phenomenon, because we know that an old man, many old men as such, where they marry a younger lady and they have children. It happens many, many a time. But for an old lady at 90 years old, it's much more possible for a 90-year-old man to marry a 35, 40-year-old woman and for them to have a child. It happens. It happens yearly, probably. But in the fact that a 90-year-old lady, 95-year-old lady, to give birth, this was something that was incredible, and this was the aspect that was such a miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's why she said it first. Alidu wa ana ajuzun, I will give birth, and being the fact that I'm an old lady. And of course she didn't leave the fact that Ibrahim alayhi salam was an old man also. وَهَذَا بَعْلِي شَيْخًا, and this is my husband, he's an old man. So do buddha, right? We're both old people. We're not supposed to have children. إِنَّ هَذَا لَشَيْءٌ عَجِيبٌ, this is a very strange thing, something I've never heard of before. After this, the malaika, they mentioned to her, being that she was raised and she has been in the marriage of a Nabi, so she should not feel any wonderment or any type of surprise at this. So they said, قَالُوا أَتَعْجَبِينَ مِنْ أَمْرِ اللَّهِ رَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ عَلَيْكُمْ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ إِنَّهُ حَمِيدٌ مَجِيدٌ. They said to her, قَالُوا, the malaika angels, they said, أَتَعْجَبِينَ مِنْ أَمْرِ اللَّهِ, are you surprised at the affair of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the order of Allah ta'ala? This is surprising you? Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh alaykum. This is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His barakat and blessings upon you. Ahl al-Bayt. This actually means, Ya Ahl al-Bayt. O people of the house, O family of Ibrahim alayhi salam, this is merely and purely the rahmah, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His barakat. This is His blessings, that at old age, He has the rahmah, in His mercy is such upon you, that He's giving you a child at old age, and the barakat is also that in your life, at an old age, Allah Ta'ala has put barakat in your life, and now you're able to have a child at an old age like this. Innahu Hamidun Majid. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is Hamid. He is the one who's praised. He doesn't need to be praised by any of the insan. He's praised already. And Majid, Allah Ta'ala is majestic. He can do whatever He pleases and whatever He wants. There's no need to have a young person with a young child. He is the most incredible of all. Allah Ta'ala can bring a young child out of an old lady, it's no problem. After this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had cleared Ibrahim alayhi salam's heart of fear, and he realized that these were the angels and the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then he started now conversating with the angels. Allah Ta'ala says, فَلَمَّا ذَهَبَ عَنْ إِبْرَاهِيمَ الرَّوْعُ وَجَاءَتْهُ الْبُشْرَى يُجَادِلُنَا فِي قَوْمِ لُوطٍ. فَلَمَّا ذَهَبَ عَنْ إِبْرَاهِيمَ, when the awe had now left the heart of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Now he was not fearful of them. He understood what their mission was. وَجَاءَتْهُ الْبُشْرَى, and also the glad tidings had came to him already. He realized that he was going to have a son named Ishaq, another son, and that was done with as well. So two things were done. The malaika, he understood who these people were, and also the good news that came that he was going to have a son. But they had given bad news also, and they said that they were going to destroy the people of Lut alayhi salam. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, as he was his quality of being a prophet, he could not stand that anybody be punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah ta'ala says, يُجَادِلُنَا فِي قَوْمِ Lut. He started arguing with us in regards to the people of Lut. He started telling the angels, don't punish them. Forget it, don't worry about it. Let's give them more time. Let's give them some more da'wah. Let's work on them. Send me over there. Give Lut alayhi salam more chances. He can do it. He can get these people. He can help them out. So he started now arguing with them in regards to the adab and punishment that was coming upon them. After this, Allah Ta'ala mentions the beautiful qualities of Ibrahim alayhi salam and why he would do this. Allah Ta'ala says, Inna Ibrahim lahalimun awwahum munib. Allah Ta'ala himself says that this is Ibrahim alayhi salam. Verily Ibrahim alayhi salam lahalimun. He is very forbearing, a lot of patience. A person who takes a lot of bad things from others, you call this halim. It's even higher than sabr. Forbearing. In Urdu you call it burdubari. Right? Burdubar. A person is burdubar. Very forbearing. If you hit him, he doesn't get mad. If you don't invite him to your house and he knocks on the door and no one's there to eat, no one's there to bring food to him, and you tell him come to dinner, and he knocks on the door and no one's there, and you went out, did your own thing and you forgot about, next day he'll meet you with a smile. It's okay, no problem. Everything's okay. So he was halim. He was forbearing. He was able to take a lot from different people. Awahun. This is a weird, strange word in Arabic, awah. Ulama give different tafseer of awah, what it means. Awah could mean rifqul qalb, that his heart was very soft. He was a soft-hearted person. So when he heard that a people were going to be destroyed, no matter what evil they had done, his heart was so soft he couldn't bear the fact that someone would be punished by Allah Ta'ala. So that's why he was complaining to them, saying, don't kill them, don't destroy them, because his heart was very soft. Some people say awahun, the ulama say the awahun means kathir dua. He used to make a lot of dua. So since his work was to plead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these were the messengers of Allah ta'ala, so he was not supplicating to them, but pleading to them that please tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to do this. And many ulama, most of the ulama say that he was kathir ta'awuh, meaning kehne wala. He used to always say all the time. People who are very emotional, things like this, say ya Allah, oh Allah, In Arabic you say that it was a feeling of, when you hear something, if you hear the ayat of Allah, us will say ya Allah, like this. But in Arabic you say it's a sigh, that comes out from the heart, where you now start feeling sad about something, or when you hear something, it attracts your heart and you feel good about it. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, a lot of times he would do this. He would see the makhluk of Allah Ta'ala, he would say when he would recite and he would be very, very emotional and very, very close relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah Ta'ala says that he was awah. He was always saying and was very close to Allah Ta'ala. And munib. He was always returning to Allah Ta'ala with tawbah and with his ibadah. He was always paying attention to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it was these qualities that made Ibrahim alayhi salam now argue with these angels in his own living room, telling them not to destroy not to destroy the people of Lut alayhi salam. After this, the malaik and angels reply to Ibrahim alayhi salam and they say, Ya Ibrahim a'rid an hadha إنه قد جاء أمر ربك وإنهم آتيهم عذاب غير مردود. Allah Ta'ala says that the angels then said, Ya Ibrahim, O Ibrahim, أعرض عن هذا. Stop this. You cannot do anything about this. Stop arguing with us about this. إنه قد جاء أمر ربك. Verily, the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the order of your Lord has come already. The decision has been made that the people of Lut have now passed the limits. They are done, their time is expired, and we're just going there carrying out the mission and destroying them. There is no, hesitation about it. It's going to happen. And you can argue till the cows come home, it's not going to change. وَإِنَّهُمْ آتِيهِمْ عَذَابٌ غَيْرُ مَرْدُودٌ. And verily, it will come upon them such a punishment which cannot be rejected, it cannot be turned back. غَيْرُ مَرْدُودٌ. It cannot be rejected and turned back by anybody. After this, obviously, Allah Ta'ala tells a story, but it's not like telling a story in a book that now what happened after that, and then Ibrahim alayhi salam, see them leave, and all these things, and Allah Ta'ala does not go into that. The purpose of these stories is ibrah, for us to gain lesson. That Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, in our lives also, it can happen like this. Everything is from Allah Ta'ala, right? In one visit, he got the basharat and the happiness of a child. And in the same visit, he also got the bad news of people's destruction. This is how life is as well, right? It could be the same day, the greatest thing can happen to you and the worst thing can happen to you as well. It's all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the end of the day, you have to have the iman with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether the good comes or the bad comes, tawakkul ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because in this world we have no power. We have no control. Allah Ta'ala has all the control. In Jannat, inshallah, Allah Ta'ala will give us a lot more blessings where we can control some of the things that are going to happen to us. So Allah Ta'ala now skips right to Lut alayhi salam and this qafla and this caravan of angels carrying on and now going to the house of Lut alayhi salam. Allah Ta'ala mentions, وَلَمَّا جَاءَتْ رُسُلُنَا لُوطًا سِيءَ بِهِمْ وَضَاقَ بِهِمْ ذَرْعًا وَقَالَ هَذَا يَوْمٌ عَصِيبٌ. وَلَمَّا جَاءَتْ رُسُلُنَا. And when our messengers came to Lut alayhi salam, سِيءَ بِهِمْ. Because of them, Lut alayhi salam became very sad. سِيءَ, سَاءَ يَسُوءُ means to do something bad, to feel something bad. So, si'a bihim ba in the Arabic language comes for sabab, for reason. So that's why I said bihim, because of them, si'a, yani si'a Lutun. Lut became very sad when he saw them. Why? Because these angels had came in the shakl and in the form of young men. Young, beautiful men they were in the form. And we all know that the people of Lut alayhi salam, they were suffering from the terrible disease which is rampant today. May Allah Ta'ala protect us and our children of homosexuality. And we're not afraid to talk about it and talk against it. I have no companies that I have to run. Darul will not have to do any type of press conference tomorrow. We are against homosexuality. 100%. 100%. We don't support it. We have no type of thing for it. It's haram in Islam. And a person who believes that it's halal is a kafir. He's a disbeliever. A person who's involved in it and believes that he's doing wrong, so he is the same person like a person who drinks alcohol in the street and is a Muslim and believes it's wrong. We have to differentiate between that. A homosexual, it's possible that he can be a Muslim if he believes it's haram. And I'm not saying do homosexuality, but we have to know that homosexuality is not kufr. It's not kufr. But to believe it's halal is kufr, which many of, unfortunately, some of the unfortunate Muslims who are getting involved in it are starting this movement. That, they say that, the person, he makes qiyas on himself. If you have a smoking habit, so then you'll feel that, no one can stay away from cigarettes. It's not my fault, it's something that everybody does. So in the same way, this sickness is such, when a person gets it, so if he's led to that way that he feels, he'll start saying it's natural, it's something I can't control. Which actually, don't be fooled on it also, do your research. There is no medical research that homosexuality is from genes and that it's natural. There is no research. Proper medical research has not proved that. The media has put it forward. They have said that and tried to blame it, na'udhu billah, on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and have said that this is something, it's not their fault and people are born like that and things like this. But there is no proper medical research on this. There was one medical research done, very, very weak. They put it out, they said, mashallah, very good, stamped it up, everything good. Go, it's natural. But doctors know that this is not true. And you can read it on the internet and find out about these things and read about it. But the media wants to push this. And Allah Ta'ala talks about this. 1400 years ago, He talked about this problem that a people in the past had, and these are the people of Lut alayhi salam. So see abihim, this Prophet Lut alayhi salam, he became very sad because of them. Why? Because these young men were coming to the house, and he knew that the people of Lut, they were so drunken in this sin that any male or any new males came into the town, na'udhu billah, they would rape them. And they were so sick in this. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so وَضَاقَ بِهِمْ ذَرْعًا. And because of that, his heart became very tight. ضَاقَ بِهِمْ ذَرْعًا. ضَاقَ means to be narrow. ذَرْعًا here means heart. So his heart became very tight, and he became tight-chested. He became nervous in regards to them. وَقَالَ هَذَا يَوْمٌ عَصِيبٌ. And he said, this is a very terrible day. Because what's going to happen to these young men, na'udhu billah, these, people of Lut, they're going to come in here and they're going to make qeem of these men. Allah Ta'ala then says after this, وَجَاءَهُ قَوْمُهُ يُهْرَعُونَ إِلَيْهِ وَمِن قَبْلُ كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ السَّيِّئَاتِ قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ هَؤُلَاءِ بَنَاتِي هُنَّ أَطْهَرُ لَكُمْ فاتقوا الله ولا تخزوني في ضيفي أليس منكم رجل رشيد. Lut alayhi salam, then his people came to him. وَجَاءَ قَوْمُهُ. When his people realized that there was young men in the house, so they came. يُهْرَعُونَ إِلَيْهِ. They came running insanely. يُهْرَعُونَ. هَرَأَ يَهْرَعُ. In the Arabic language, there's two types of words. One is ma'ruf and one is majhul. A ma'ruf word, for example, ضرب Mikail. Mikail, he hit. I hit you in the face. ضرب. And one is ضرب. I was struck in. I was hit. So yuhra'un is a second type of word, which means yuhra'una, they were running, but they were being made, meaning they were running so insanely, it almost looked like as if someone was pushing them, making them run. That's how they were running. يُهْرَعُونَ إِلَيْهِ. So they were made to run towards these people. They were running towards them. وَمِن قَبْلُ كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. And before that, they were doing evil deeds already, meaning they were already involved in the sin of homosexuality, and of course in the worst of all things, which is the sodomy. And even the name of their town was called Sodom. They were from the place Sodom, where the word sodomy comes from these days, where they call it sodomy. It's been, mansub and related to them. So وَمِن قَبْلُ كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. And from before they were doing evil deeds already, so they were already involved in this homosexuality. They were desensitized. They were just looking for, fresh victims. قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ هَؤُلَاءِ بَنَاتِي. Now Lut alayhi salam knows that these young men are in big problems. So Lut alayhi salam tells them, قَالَ, O my people, هَؤُلَاءِ بَنَاتِي, these are my daughters. Hunna ataharu lakum, they are more pure for you. Get married. Stop now involving yourself in relationships with the men. So when a question arises that all of us too here, sitting here, we know that it would have to even be a worse situation than this, then we would now offer our daughters to a bunch of homosexuals standing in front of a door trying to get inside to some man. So this was a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can he be now offering his daughters to them? Right? So the ulama give a few reasons why Lut alayhi salam said this. Most of the ulama say that banati here doesn't mean his real daughters. He means actually he was the spiritual father of his people, the sheikh of his people. So as he was saying this, he was not mentioning that his daughters, his real daughters, but all of the ladies of the town were actually like his daughters. So what he was telling them was that you have left these women who are now born amongst you, and they are the ladies you're supposed to be marrying. Go marry them. Stop coming to these men over here. So he wasn't actually offering his daughters, but as a sheikh and as a leader of the community, he was speaking that all of these actually are like my daughters. I can treat them and call them like my daughters. So that's the first, and most of the ulama say this. Another reason why he said this, many of the ulama say, is that the chiefs came. Not all of the people of Lut came, but some were chosen as the chiefs, the heads of the people, the qawm, and they came. And there's indications towards that. يُهْرَعُونَ إِلَيْهِ. It could be that يُهْرَعُونَ إِلَيْهِ, that the people who were under them were kind of, forcing the chiefs that go over there and go find out who those men are and find out who they are, we want to get them. So that could be the reason why Allah Ta'ala mentioned يُهْرَعُونَ إِلَيْهِ. And these chiefs were the ones who came. So Lut alayhi salam now had offered them to his daughters and said, listen, you guys are the chiefs, the leaders, make tawbah, bring iman, leave this sin. These are my daughters after that. I will marry you to them. And inshallah the whole town will then get hidayat and everybody will come right. So some ulama say this is the reason why he said it. And the last view of the ulama on why he would say this and offer his daughters to these people in marriage is that he was actually trying to put shame in them by saying this. Like if a person, comes and he's bothering you and begging, so okay, take my money, take it, take my whole wallet. Take my whole wallet. And no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. So in the same way here, he was saying, but just take my daughters, I had enough with you people. They're better for you, just take them, go. Trying to put shame in them, but it didn't work. They had no type of shame and sharm. They actually wanted a certain thing. And this is what they said to him after. Then after this, pleading to them, Lut alayhi salam says, أَلَيْسَ مِنْكُمْ رَجُلٌ رَشِيدٌ. Is there not one man amongst you who is guided, who's a right-minded person, al-Rashid, a person who is now guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who can think properly and see how wrong this is? Is there not amongst you anyone? This was their reply. قالوا لقد علمت ما لنا في بناتك من حق وإنك لتعلم ما نريد. They said that, O Lut alayhi salam, قالوا, they said, لقد علمت, you know already, Lut, ما لنا في بناتك من حق. We don't have any type of need for your daughters. We don't want your daughters. We don't want the women of our community. وَإِنَّكَ لَتَعْلَمُ مَا نُرِيدُ. And you know exactly it is what we want. You know what we want. We want those young men inside there. This is the sickness they had. After this, Allah Ta'ala says, قَالَ لَوْ أَنَّ لِي بِكُمْ قُوَّةً أَوْ آوِي إِلَىٰ رُكْنٍ شَدِيدٍ. Lut alayhi salam becomes very sad after this because he doesn't want to see these young men. And they have not told him yet that they're the angels. He doesn't know. He's got 3-4 young men sitting in his living room, and he doesn't know where these men have come from. All he's trying to do is stop them from getting raped by these men. And some ulama say such an extent that these qawms started coming from the roof also. They started now banging on the roof and trying to come in from the roof also. So now he became so sad, and he was pleading to himself, and he says that Qala, Lut alayhi salam said, لَوْ أَنَّ لِي بِكُمْ قُوَّةً. If I had any strength against you, if I had an army with me, I would kill you right now. لَوْ أَنَّ لِي بِكُمْ قُوَّةً. If I had some strength against me, because the people of Lut alayhi salam's followers were only a few, they were outnumbered, and they were weak as well. So Lut alayhi salam is saying that I wish I had some type of strength, some strong men behind me that I can now fight with you and protect these young men. أَوْ آوِي إِلَىٰ رُكْنٍ شَدِيدٍ. Or I can now take some refuge in a very strong foundation. Rukn Shadid here, many ulama say, means a family. Because Lut alayhi salam did not have many family members there. Most of his family were from the original qawm of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Because from the qawm of Ibrahim alayhi salam, only 2 people basically went from on the hijrah. That was Sarah, who had gotten the basharat, and Lut alayhi salam. These were the only 2 that basically had the iman with Ibrahim alayhi salam, and they traveled with him, and Lut went to a different village to give the da'wah. So he didn't have much family also. So he said that, I wish I can go to some strong foundation. Rukn means a foundation. Some strong foundation. I wish I had a strong family here that now, I could now depend on them and take refuge in them. Many of the ulama, and of course is the tafseer of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also, that Rukn Shadid actually means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Rasulullah has mentioned in the hadith that Lut alayhi salam had now taken refuge in Rukn Shadid, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah ta'ala, after this, he says, I want to take refuge in Rukn Shadid with Allah ta'ala. Now the angels, after seeing this, his pleading to Allah ta'ala, then they said, قالوا يا لوط إنا رسل ربك لن يصلوا إليك فأسر بأهلك بقطع من الليل ولا يلتفت منكم أحد وَلَا يَلْتَفِتْ مِنْكُمْ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا امْرَأَتَكَ إِنَّهُ مُصِيبُهَا مَا أَصَابَهُمْ إِنَّ مَوْعِدَهُمُ الصُّبْحُ أَلَيْسَ الصُّبْحُ بِقَرِيبٍ. Then they told Lut alayhi salam, they said, O Lut, Inna rusula rabbik, we are the messengers of your Lord. We are the angels, don't worry. We are young men, but we are the angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La yasilu ilayk, they will not reach you. They will not be able to come in here and do any harm to you. We are the messengers of Allah ta'ala. Then they informed him, فَأَسْرِ بِأَهْلِكَ بِقِطْعٍ مِّنَ اللَّيْلِ, in the darkness of the night, go travel with your people. Leave from this town. We've got a job to do. We've got some destruction to do. You don't be there while this happens. وَلَا يَلْتَفِتْ مِنْكُمْ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا امْرَأَتَكَ, and not one of you should turn around and look back at your people. Because if you turn around and look back at your people, you're going to get the soft heart towards them and feel bad that, oh, my people, look at them, they're going to get destroyed. And then you will be going back into that destruction. You'll be destroyed with them. So none of you should turn around and look. Turn around, leave, and don't look back at what happens to them. إِلَّا امْرَأَتَكَ, except for your wife. The wife of Lut alayhi salam, who was not a Muslimah. She was a non-believer. This doesn't mean that she was fahisha. Our ulama have told us that some of the wives of the Anbiya, Allah Ta'ala has mentioned a few of them. Other ones, ulama say that they were there. They were kafira, but they weren't fahisha. Meaning they were disbelievers, but they weren't promiscuous and lewd women. They were not like this. They were disbelievers, and at the end point, they went to their disbelief. So unfortunately, what many of the ulama say about the wife of Lut alayhi salam was that she turned around and looked to her people. When he started leaving, so she turned around and said, Wa qawmah, oh my people. And then she ran to them, and she was also destroyed with them. And many of the ulama say that it was her who informed the people of Lut, the Qawmi Lut, that these young men have come to the house, come and see them. So from this evil deed that she did, and her kufr of course, she then was also shamil and joined with her people in the punishment that Allah Ta'ala gave them. إِنَّهُ مُصِيبُهَا مَا أَصَابُهُمْ. Verily, it is such that which will afflict her will afflict them. That which has afflicted them will afflict her as well. Meaning, the punishment that is put upon them will be put upon her as well. إِنَّ مَوْعِدَهُمُ الصُّبْحُ. Verily, the promised time for them is the morning. In the morning time, after the Fajr, after the sun comes out a little bit, that's when they will be destroyed. When they get up, and that's when a person is in ghafla. When he's in unmindful, starts getting ready for work and the job, and starts going outside, and another day, bright, beautiful morning, and he thinks now his day has begun. Bismillah, it's now begun. And at that time, that's when Allah Ta'ala destroyed them. Inna maw'idahum as-subh. And the morning time is their promised and awaited time that they will be destroyed. Alaysa subhu biqareeb. O Lut, is not the morning very close? It's very close. Hurry up and get out. Go. Don't wait any longer. Subh, the morning is very close. If you're here with them, you'll be destroyed as well. Because the adhab of Allah Ta'ala does not discriminate. Allah Ta'ala then mentions, فَلَمَّا جَاءَ أَمْرُنَا جَعَلْنَا عَالِيَهَا سَافِلَهَا وَأَمْطَرْنَا عَلَيْهَا حِجَارَةً مِّن سِجِّيلٍ مَّنضُودٍ. Allah Ta'ala mentions, فَلَمَّا جَاءَ أَمْرُنَا. When our punishment came upon them, جَعَلْنَا عَالِيَهَا سَافِلَهَا. We made the highest amongst them the lowest. Meaning we destroyed them in such a way that we lifted them up and we brung them down. وَأَمْطَرْنَا عَلَيْهَا حِجَارَةً مِّن سِجِّيلٍ. And we rained upon them hijaratan, rocks. Min sijil, from hard clay. Hard baked rocks. They were rocks, but they looked like, so to say, dirt balls, mud balls. And they were baked and very hard, and when they hit the person, then they exploded into dust, which made the area very dusty as well. Mandud, one after the other. Mandud means they were coming one after the other, perpetually they just kept coming, and these rocks kept coming down on these people. So first Allah Ta'ala lifted them up, Then he brung them down, and then after that, when they came down, then these rocks came destroying them and crushing them as it came coming down from the sky. And these were no regular rocks. These are rocks specially sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Scud missiles from Jannah. مُسَوَّمَةً عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ وَمَا هِيَ مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ بِبَعِيدٍ. Allah ta'ala says, مُسَوَّمَةً عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ. And they were marked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Musawwamatan, most of the ulama mention, Musawwamatan means that each rock had the name of the person who was going to destroy. If the person's name was Jara, so the rock had the name Jara on it when it was coming down and it was hitting that person, the same person the name was. Even some Mufassireen, without any sanad of course, and they probably gotten it from Israeli riwayat, but they mention of one of the people, of these people, who actually ran out of the town and ended up in another town. He ran out a little bit early, saw the people loot Islam, so he also escaped and ran out somewhere else, but he was a kafir, a disbeliever, and he ran to a close nearby town. In the morning time when they were getting destroyed, one rock came and hit him there also. It destroyed him there. He was sitting in that place and thought he was okay, and the rock came and hit him over there. Wallahu alam, it's not a riwayat to Bukhari. I think some Mufassireen have mentioned it, like in Jalalain and these type of Mufassireen. They have mentioned it. Allah Ta'ala knows best. But the great phenomenon was that what? These rocks were all marked for them. Exactly the aim, whatever Allah Ta'ala wanted to destroy, He destroyed them with that rock. Inda Rabbik, by Allah Ta'ala. The ulama Tafseer say that this shows that these were no regular rocks, but they were rocks specially sent by Allah Ta'ala, probably from the heavens, whatever it may be. وَمَا هِيَ مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ بِبَعِيدٍ. And وَمَا هِيَ, meaning قَوْمِ Lut. These people, قَوْمِ Lut, or you can say, the here going back to Buq'a, meaning this land that they were destroyed in, it is not very far from the oppressors. Who's the oppressors? The Mushrikin Mecca. Oh, Mushrikin Mecca, the story that we have told you through Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the place where these people of Lut alayhi salam were destroyed, it's not very far from you. Because the people, the Mushrikin Mecca, when they used to travel to Sham, so they used to pass by the Dead Sea. And they used to pass by right by that area and see the ruins of Lut alayhi salam. So Allah Ta'ala is saying that this place is not very far from you. You walk by and you see it in your asfar and in your travels. You see it. Take ibrah, take lesson. That these people were destroyed because of their sins. Sins vary. You also are involved in sin. Allah Ta'ala can destroy you in the very same way. After this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the story of Shu'aib. Inshallah, we'll talk about that next week. Inshallah, we'll start it off fully and try to finish up that story. And then and then the story of Musa alayhi salam, then the story ends. And then Ahsan al-Qasas will start, the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. May Allah ta'ala protect us from sin. But that is one of the main messages in this. Each qawm you can see had certain sins they were involved in. And because of these sins, they were destroyed. So that's why the ulama say that sin, al-ma'asiyah, it is a sabab of adab. It is a reason of punishment coming by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and especially israr, when we keep doing it, when we are, constant in the sin and we don't stop, so there's a great chance that the adab and punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can come. So we should make sure that we try and stay away from sin, develop taqwa in our lives, do good deeds, and even if we can do less, if it entails us doing less sins and not even that many good deeds, the ulama say it's better. A lot of good deeds with sins, not good. Good deeds, and then the sins also, this is not good. But some small amount of deeds and less sins, no sins, much better. A lot of good deeds, no sins, as-sabiqun al-awwalun. Then you're muqarrab. Then you're close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to try to involve ourselves in good deeds, stay away from the sins, and may Allah ta'ala protect us from homosexuality. And protect our aqeedah also. Because a Muslim must understand that this is a haram action. We cannot give in to the media and give in to the society now that it's okay, it's fine. It doesn't mean we are not haters, right? This doesn't mean that we go out and we beat up homosexuals, na'udhu billah. We don't do anything wrong to them. We don't make fun of them. We don't hit them. But we have our, we have our beliefs, and we have our own, set of codes. And we don't have to. It's a free country. You don't have to agree with homosexuality. They're making that type of environment now that if you don't agree with homosexuality, then you're wrong. You don't have to agree with it. Now, you don't have to start violence against them. We don't do that. But we don't have to agree with it at all, and we don't agree with it. And any Muslim who agrees with it, then he has big problems. He has to read the Quran and look inside of it. And anyone who has the desire of homosexuality, he has to make tawbah. It's a lust, just like anything else. If a person has a desire for zina, he cannot give in to it. If he has a desire to drink alcohol, he cannot give in. If he has a desire to kill someone, he cannot give in. If he has a desire for another man or woman for another woman, as in lesbianism it is also, and homosexuality between males, if he has any of these desires, then he has to make tawbah and he has to refrain from it. He has to have taqwa. It's a lust. It's a sin from the sins and a lust from the lusts of insan, but unfortunately people give into it. May Allah Ta'ala protect us and protect our children as well, and may Allah Ta'ala open up the ways for us. Yes?
I have a question.
Yes.
Dead Sea, it's between Jordan and Israel. A
Ah,
lot of people go there, the tourists go there.
yes, I know.
And they say the Muslims should take a dip in that. Like a lot of Christians go, other people go, they say that healing affects this water. But the Muslims should be going and take a dip in that.
No, we should not do that. We shouldn't go and dip in there and things like that. No. It's the Dead Sea. Some of the things that has some qualities that other things don't have. First of all, the water doesn't ripple and things like that. It's completely, dead. And the salt content is Allah Ta'ala has made the salt content very high. That means the fish in them can't live there. It's from the adab of Allah Ta'ala, of course. He's made that land dead that nothing can live there. And because of the salt content, when there's a lot of salt content in the water, so people float. That's one of the main reasons why they have to go in there. You can't drown in that water. So all those guys who can't swim, they really have a good time in there, right? I'm one of those punk guys that can't swim. You're looking at the pool and I'm in the 3 feet over there, and I got that little donut around me too. So not little, a big donut actually. So that's the people, they get a kick out of that. But Muslims should not. Rasulullah has showed us in the Sunnah how we are supposed to go away. Actually, you're supposed to walk fast through these things and make the dua that Allah Ta'ala protect us from certain punishments like this. May Allah Ta'ala, this is ibrah, this is a sign, and we should actually be crying when we go there, not taking pictures and filling up our phones with this and jumping inside there, see how it is to float. That's not something to do. But they do that. When you go down, then they go on their back and they float like that. And healing, wallahu alam, if there's, people drink urine to heal themselves. So that doesn't mean we're going to do it. So people say things like that, but Allah Ta'ala knows best. Jazakumullah khair. Inshallah, also we came back from Umrah, alhamdulillah. We spent last week in Haramain Sharifain. Allah Ta'ala blessed us, inshallah, that we were able to go there. I went with my family, about 8 members of my family, which was not very easy at all. But alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala made it easy. If you don't know, the Haramain Sharifain is not like before. It's very busy. It's like Hajj time. Wallahi, it's like Hajj time. The reason being that the Saudi government has opened up the Umrah for all the countries. Fully open. Before, there was a lot of restrictions. We don't know about that. America, we can go. And even in America, they've opened up even, Saudis, may Allah Ta'ala forgive them, they get a little pressure from America. So even the 45-year-old lady, she can go without mahram now. We're the only country that can do that. If you're 45 years old and you're a lady, then you can go without the mahram, which is, of course, we don't agree with, but there's madahib and they have some, dalil for that, whatever it is. But most of the time we send our ladies with the mahram, but that's what they're doing now. And these are some different rules they've opened up for America. In the other countries, they used to have restrictions, for example, children, younger people, only a certain amount of people can come. Now, anybody wants to go for Umrah, they can go. It's totally open. So you see, mashallah, the Turks are there, and the people from India are there, and the Arab people are there, and all different, and in groups, and they have different colors on. It was very, very beautiful, mashallah. May Allah Ta'ala bring this ummah together in ittifaq and agreement, and may Allah Ta'ala protect the Haramain Sharifain, protect the Kaaba from fitna, and the Baytullah from fitna, protect the Qabr of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the people of Medina and Mecca, so beautiful people. May Allah Ta'ala protect them as well, and open up the ways for them. They always, a lot of people have bad things to say about people who live in Mecca and Medina, but every time I go there, I have a conversation with the police officers. I tell them a little bit about myself. I get in a little bit quicker also with the stamping and stuff like that. I use that also. I said, I'm new Muslim, and mashallah, they stamp me in, and I go past everyone. But alhamdulillah, they're very, very nice people and very good, and they're doing a lot, mashallah, they're breaking it down now, and they're making it even bigger. For who? They don't have to. They can just put limitations, say we can't handle this, it's too much, and use all their money for their own self, But they're breaking it down and doing a lot of work, 24 hours a day, 3 years. They want to finish this and make it bigger for the Hujjaj, for the Mu'tamireen, for us. So may Allah Ta'ala bless them, inshallah, and open up the ways for them. And we make dua, inshallah, a quick dua we'll make, inshallah. We just came back from Umrah. So, but not by virtue of myself, by virtue of the Umrah, we'll make the dua. It's the Umrah that makes the person special. We're not special for going Umrah. Allah Ta'ala sent us there. Huh? Everything's quick with me. Because I'm very tired. But I couldn't take over. It was too many weeks now. I know that the Hamza start calling me, telling me that this stuff is not working out. So I had to come. But I was very tired. I'm very tired. I taught today and I have to go tomorrow to another bayan. I'm very tired, but we'll make dua, inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wal aqibatu al-muttaqeen, wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Rabbil Alameen, please forgive us all our sins, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, please make this tafsir lesson a source of reward for us on the day of Qiyamah, Ya Rabbil Alameen. A source of salvation for us, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, protect our children, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Protect us, Ya Rabbil Alameen, from sins. Oh Allah, make us of the people of taqwa, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, grant us Jannat Firdaus bighayri hisab, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, give us all the good in this world and the hereafter, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, grant us the tawfiq to practice the sunnahs of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Give us ikhlas in everything that we do. Give us taqwa, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Give us good deeds, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Tawfiq to do good deeds. And give us death on iman, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, those who have passed away, please forgive them, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Those who are sick, please give them shifa, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Those who are healthy, give them tawfiq to do good a'mal and good deeds, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, those who are affluent and have good money, may you give them tawfiq to give the infaq and to spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, all those who are poor and in difficulty and in poverty, oh Allah, give them sabr, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Give them the ability to be happy in their hearts with what you have given them, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, all the countries who are in difficulty and now adding on Bangladesh as well, may Allah Ta'ala please make our Muslim countries safe, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala open up the hearts to the leaders of the Muslim countries that they become, followers of the deen and use the Sharia as a code of law and as something for them to lead the people in. Oh Allah, please open up the ways for all of our Muslim brothers and sisters who are suffering all around the world. Oh Allah, give them afiyat, Ya Rabbil Alameen, and give them easiness in this world and the hereafter. Those who are shaheed, grant them Jannat al-Firdaus, Ya Rabbil Alameen, and give their families sabr. Oh Allah, this community in Masjid Hamza, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala elevate it, Ya Rabbil Alameen, and make it an example for the other communities, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Grant all of its musallis and the dwellers of this area with ikhlas, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them death and iman, and grant them all Jannat al-Firdaus bighayri hisab. Ya Rabbil Alameen, those who don't have iman, grant them the iman, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, those who are mu'min and believers, strengthen our iman and make us stronger in our iman, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, please gather us with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on the day of Qiyamah, and oh Allah, grant us Jannat al-Firdaus bighayri hisab, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Make the life in the qabr easy for us, and make our qabr one of the gardens from the gardens of Jannah, and may you protect all of us from your punishment and from the fires of hell and the calamities of Judgment Day. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wa salamun ala al-mursaleen, walhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Long enough?
Welcome.